So what we're going to talk about today is the two most popular used, or at least two of the most popular used Bluetooth controllers and Demon Eyes. First company is going to be Morimoto, and they're sold primarily on the retrofit source. It's where they're known. They're kind of one of the same almost. But Morimoto, and the second one is going to be Diode. Both products are extremely well made, high quality, both priced at the same price point. With that being said, they are both Bluetooth controllers. So here you have Morimoto's, and here you have Diode. You can see right off the bat, Diode is a good bit smaller. Morimoto is larger. Both well made, high quality. There is a major difference between the controllers, however. So they are both RGBW based controllers, meaning that you can control LED chips that have a dedicated white chip, unlike just an RGB chip, which gets white from combining red, green, and blue together. It's a big difference to have a dedicated white chip to get a pure white color. So looking at the controllers again, the main difference that the Morimoto controller has is it has zones, and what that means is you have a total of 3 zones on here, so you can control up to 6 different devices, and you can have them you can have them grouped in twos and have them either the same color all at once simultaneously, or you can control it individually. So if you have 2 devices hooked up, like a Halo and a Demon Eye, you can have them on different zones, and you can control those 2 colors individually, or set them both to the same color. With the Diode controller, it's all a single zone, so it's all one or nothing. Now looking at the drivers. So here is the driver for the Diode Dynamics chip. You can see it's normal size. On one end you have the connection that goes to the actual LED board, and then on the other end you have the connection that goes into the RGBW controller. You also have a ground and an optional cutoff switch, which you could tap into your low beam. So meaning if you have your Demon Eyes on and you forget to turn them off, and you turn on your low beams, this will cut the power to the Demon Eyes so they don't burn up. Remember, the #1 killer of Demon Eyes and LED chips in general is heat. So you don't want to have your Demon Eyes on and then also be then turning on your low beams or actual headlights and having the heat from that bulb blasting the actual chip here on the Demon Eyes board. Now looking at the other driver on the ColorMorph LEDConcept side, it's about the same size, a little smaller. It's all metal, so that kind of acts as a heat sink. That's nice. Same concept. You have a connection that's going to go to the controller, and you're going to have a connection that's going to go to the LED itself. Now getting to the Demon Eyes and the actual LED chips, you can see here on the right we have, so getting onto the actual Demon Eyes, here on the left you can see we have the Diode Dynamics. Smaller chip, smaller board, and has its own dedicated heatsink they added onto that, which is nice. They both have the 4 individual chips. You can see that LEDConcept here also added a little glass lens over top the chips, which may or may not make a difference. I'm going to show you the main difference on these, however, when they're powered on and when they're using the specific controllers. Alright, so on the left here we have the Diode Dynamics Demon Eye. On the right we have the ColorMorph. They're both being driven by their individual drivers and controllers. So we're using the Diode Dynamics controller on the left, and we're using the Morimoto XBT controller on the right. So you can see right off the bat, the diode on the left has more of a pure white. And you might be wondering why, since I said they're both You know, they both have their own dedicated white chips, and you can even see on the projected light here, there's still color being projected here. Now, both of these chips and both these controllers have the ability to produce only the white chip, giving you only a pure white, like you can see on the diode here. The reason why you are seeing colored light and not as pure of a white, as you can see there, on the right through the XBT controller, is because, I don't know if you'd call it a glitch or a design flaw, or maybe it's by design. The XBT controller will always power that dedicated white chip. Meaning, if you change the color to blue, it'll be a solid blue on the diode because it's only powering the blue chip. It will, however, be blue on the Morimoto, as well as full powered white, kind of washing that out. And I'll show you what I mean here. So here you can see, this is Morimoto's controller, and that's supposed to be red. That's supposed to be purple. You can see how whited out and washed out it is. That's your blue. That's your teal. Your green. Your yellow. Back to your red. Now let me show you, see if I can put them both on at the same time. We'll do fade. We'll do speed. So this looks like it's just about every color. Now let me connect to the diode controller. And let's find a similar so you can see the difference even though the colors aren't exactly synced up. You can see how pure of an actual specific color is on the diode LED compared to the XBT, which is completely washed out. Again, it's nothing wrong with the ColorMorph LED chip. It's nothing wrong with the drivers. It has to do with how they're sending the pinout on this controller to always power white. Obviously, if you bought a if you bought just an RGB LED chip, it would not be an issue. But then you're going to be lacking your pure white. And you know it's not the chip because I can take the ColorMorph chip and connect it to the diode dynamic driver, and you'll see that the results will be exactly the same. However, I just wanted to show you guys that whether this is a flaw or a poor design choice, the XBT driver will always power the white chip regardless of what color you're trying to send, resulting in a washed out color, which you can see here on the right. One more thing about the application that I'd like to mention that I think is just kind of poor is, one, it's a pain in the ass to pair, and two, if you don't always have Bluetooth on your phone, and you're done with the app and you power it off, and then you quit the app and turn your Bluetooth off, then the app kicks it back on. So if that app's in memory, it'll continuously kick your Bluetooth back on without alerting you or having any control over it. You actually have to force stop the app from running. That's another thing I don't really like about it. But besides that, they're both great products, both highly made quality wise, and yeah, I recommend both.